Yes, people, back again today with another video, another Quran reaction. Thank you for all the love and comments in the last video. Really appreciate it. Today is a surah that a lot of people have asked me to react to. It's Surah Al Muminoon. Loads of people have asked me to react to this one, so finally getting to it. On the Merciful Servant channel. The video is titled Surah Al Muminoon, and it's got in brackets, Quran tells us the past and future of humans. So this is due to be very, very interesting. Really looking forward to it. So yeah, man, let's get into it.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قد أفلح المؤمنون الذين هم في صلاتهم خاشعون والذين هم عن اللغو معرضون والذين هم للزكاة فاعلون والذين هم لفروجهم حافظون إلا على أزواجهم أو ما ملكت أيمانهم فإنهم غير ملومين فمن ابتغى وراء ذلك فأولئك هم العادون والذين هم لأماناتهم وعهدهم راعون والذين هم على صلواتهم يحافظون أولئك هم الوارثون الذين يرثون الفردوس هم فيها خالدون ولقد خلقنا الإنسان من سلالة من طين ثم جعلناه نطفة في قرار مكين ثم خلقنا النطفة علقة فخلقنا العلقة مضغة فخلقنا المضغة عظاما فكسونا العظام لحما ثم أنشأناه خلقا آخر فتبارك الله أحسن الخالقين ثم إنكم بعد.
Wow, so really explaining the the birth of humans there, from preconception to conception. Very interesting that. Okay.
ثم إنكم يوم القيامة تبعثون ولقد خلقنا فوقكم سبع طرائق وما كنا عن الخلق غافلين وأنزلنا من السماء ماء بقدر فأسكناه في الأرض وإنا على ذهاب به لقادرون فأنشأنا لكم به جنات من نخيل وأعناب لكم فيها فواكه كثيرة ومنها تأكلون وشجرة تخرج من طور سيناء تنبت بالدهن وصبغ للآكلين وإن لكم في الأنعام لعبرة نسقيكم مما في بطونها ولكم فيها منافع كثيرة ومنها تأكلون وعليها وعلى الفلك تحملون ولقد أرسلنا نوحا إلى قومه فقال يا قوم اعبدوا الله ما لكم من إله غيره أفلا تتقون
Interesting what they say about the cattle. They give you the cattle for many reasons, for the milk to drink and to eat the meat of cows. So I don't know. It's strange because there's like been a trend in the last, I'd say, 3 or 4 years, where people are starting to cut out dairy because most people, like the majority of humans, are lactose intolerant. So when you eat, like, even though it's not to the point that some people are, most people are lactose intolerant to some extent because the enzymes found in dairy milk, basically our stomachs aren't strong enough to break the enzymes down. So when a lot of people have like milk and dairy and cheese, they get a bit phlegmy, they get gassy, sometimes they get stomach aches. If it's really bad, you get like diarrhea and stuff. But a lot of people get that phlegmy feeling when they have too much milk and stuff, which is like lactose intolerant. So a lot of people have been cutting out milk now. Like me myself, I only drink almond milk now, or oat milk sometimes, because I found dairy didn't really agree with me that much. I still have the odd like ice cream or cake or whatever, but I won't just drink pure dairy milk like that. It's interesting, man. Also, I've stopped eating meat about 4 or 5 years ago now. I only eat fish now. You can say I'm a pescatarian, I suppose. Yeah, just because I personally found like meat wasn't great for my diet either. So obviously it says God has given you permission to have these things, but yeah, like it depends on the person, man. Like billions of people still eat meat and drink cow's milk, so I guess it's up to personal preference. But yeah, no, the reason I brought that up in here was because I found it really interesting that all these years, thousands, well, 1,400 years ago, they told us not to eat pork, and now in modern day we've discovered that pork is actually really bad for you. The worms that it carries and can create in your stomach, and it's not a very good meat to eat in too much excess, let's say. So yeah, let's continue.
فقال الملأ الذين كفروا من قومه ما هذا إلا بشر مثلكم فقال الملأ الذين كفروا من قومه ما هذا إلا بشر مثلكم يريد أن يتفضل عليكم ولو شاء الله لأنزل ملائكة ما سمعنا بهذا في آبائنا الأولين إن هو إلا رجل به جنة فتربصوا به حتى حين قال رب انصرني بما كذبون فأوحينا إليه أن اصنع الفلك بأعيننا ووحينا فإذا جاء أمرنا وفارت النور فاسلك فيها من كل زوجين اثنين وأهلك إلا من سبق عليه القول.
So they're telling the story of Noah's Ark now. When the earth was flooded, God told Noah to take two of every species onto the ark. There's been a lot of debate as to what the ark actually was. Whether it was actually a boat that could fit each animal species in 2 by 2, or whether it was something else, maybe more scientific that he had to do with genetics and stuff. But yeah, really interesting. That Noah also says that, like Prophet Muhammad and like many of the other prophets, people said he was just a confused man, a liar. He was not really a prophet of God. And then say here, God says, except those against whom the decree has already been passed. So those who are to drown will drown in the deluge, in the flood. and those who have been selected not to will continue.
ولا تخاطبني في الذين ظلموا إنهم مغرقون فإذا استويت أنت ومن معك على الفلك فقل الحمد لله الذي نجانا من القوم الظالمين وقل رب أنزلني منزلا مباركا وأنت خير المنزلين إن في ذلك لآيات وإن كنا لمبتلين ثم أنشأنا من بعدهم قرنا آخرين فأرسلنا فيهم رسولا منهم.
See, that's very interesting as well. For a time, scientists were saying that the flood of Noah wasn't real, but then it's now been discovered that it was actually real. It was one of the great deluges. But apparently, there were some investigators and researchers who are saying that there was a civilization in Asia called Lemuria. The landmass was called Mu, I think, and the people were from Lemuria. And this flood wiped a lot of them out. They were like the first advanced civilization on the planet. And it was thought that flood was partially what wiped a lot of them out. I don't know how accurate that is, not to say that they were like the sinning people who would deserve to be drowned. I don't know, but yeah, it's interesting, man, to see all these ancient tellings of floods are now coming to be shown to be true.
وقال الملأ من قومه الذين كفروا وكذبوا بلقاء الآخرة وأترفناهم في الحياة الدنيا ما هذا إلا بشر مثلكم يأكل مما تأكلون منه ويشرب مما تشربون ولئن أطعتم بشرا مثلكم إنكم إذا لخاسرون أيعدكم أنكم إذا متم وكنتم ترابا وعظاما أنكم مخرجون هيهات هيهات لما توعدون إن هي إلا حياتنا الدنيا نموت ونحيا وما نحن بمبعوثين إن هو إلا رجل افترى على الله كذبا وما نحن له بمؤمنين قال رب انصرني بما كذبون قال عما قليل ليصبحن نادمين فأخذتهم الصيحة بالحق فجعلناهم غثاء فبعدا للقوم الظالمين ثم أنشأنا من بعدهم قرونا آخرين ما تسبق من أمة أجلها وما يستأخرون ثم أرسلنا رسلنا تترى كلما جاء أمة رسولها كذبوه فأتبعنا بعضهم بعضا وجعلناهم أحاديث فبعدا لقوم لا يؤمنون. وجعلنا ابن مريم وأمه آية وآويناهما إلى ربوة ذات قرار ومعين يا أيها الرسل كلوا من الطيبات واعملوا صالحا إني بما تعملون عليم وإن هذه أمتكم أمة واحدة وأنا ربكم فاتقون فتقطعوا أمرهم بينهم زبورا كل حزب بما لديهم فرحون فذرهم في غمرتهم حتى حين أيحسبون أن ما نمدهم به من مال وبنين نسارع لهم في الخيرات بل لا يشعرون إن الذين هم من خشية ربهم مشفقون والذين هم بآيات ربهم يؤمنون والذين هم بربهم لا يشركون والذين يؤتون ما آتوا وقلوبهم وجلة أنهم إلى ربهم راجعون أولئك يسارعون في الخيرات وهم لها سابقون ولا نكلف نفسا إلا وسعها ولدينا كتاب ينطق بالحق وهم لا يظلمون بل قلوبهم في غمرة من هذا ولهم أعمال من دون ذلك هم لها عاملون حتى إذا أخذنا مترفيهم بالعذاب إذا هم يجأرون لا تجأروا اليوم إنكم منا لا تنصرون قد كانت آياتي تتلى عليكم فكنتم على أعقابكم تنكصون مستكبرين به سامرا تهجرون أفلم يدبروا القول أم جاءهم ما لم يأت آباءهم الأولين أم لم يعرفوا رسولهم فهم له منكرون أم يقولون به جنة بل جاءهم بالحق وأكثرهم للحق كارهون ولو اتبع الحق أهواءهم لفسدت السماوات والأرض ومن فيهن بل أتيناهم بذكرهم فهم عن ذكرهم معرضون أم تسألهم خرجا فخراج ربك خير وهو خير الرازقين وإنك لتدعوهم إلى صراط مستقيم وإن الذين لا يؤمنون بالآخرة عن الصراط لناكبون ولو رحمناهم وكشفنا ما بهم من ضر للجوا في طغيانهم يعمهون ولقد أخذناهم بالعذاب فما استكانوا لربهم وما يتضرعون حتى إذا فتحنا عليهم بابا ذا عذاب شديد إذا هم فيه مبلسون وهو الذي أنشأ لكم السمع والأبصار والأفئدة قليلا ما تشكرون أفلا تعقلون بل قالوا مثل ما قال الأولون قالوا أإذا متنا وكنا ترابا وعظاما أإنا لمبعوثون لقد وعدنا نحن وآباؤنا هذا من قبل إن هذا إلا أساطير الأولين قل لمن الأرض ومن فيها إن كنتم تعلمون سيقولون لله قل أفلا تذكرون قل من رب السماوات السبع ورب العرش العظيم سيقولون لله قل أفلا تتقون قل من بيده ملكوت كل شيء وهو يجير ولا يجار عليه إن كنتم تعلمون سيقولون لله قل فأنا تسحرون بل أتيناهم بالحق وإنهم لكاذبون ما اتخذ الله من ولد وما كان معه من إله إذا لذهب كل إله بما خلق ولعلى بعضهم على بعض سبحان الله عما يصفون عالم الغيب والشهادة فتعالى عما يشركون قل رب إما تريني ما يوعدون رب فلا تجعلني في القوم الظالمين وإنا على أن نريك ما نعدهم لقادرون ادفع بالتي هي أحسن السيئة نحن أعلم بما يصفون وقل رب أعوذ بك من همزات الشياطين وأعوذ بك رب أن يحضرون حتى إذا جاء أحدهم الموت قال رب ارجعون لعلي أعمل صالحا فيما تركت كلا إنها كلمة هو قائلها ومن ورائهم برزخ إلى يوم يبعثون فإذا
See, this part of the Quran is quite, it's a lot of people disagree. You see, some people believe that you live many lives, where you're reincarnated, and before you incarnate again, you review your life with God, and then you come back and you try and you learn the lessons to better evolve yourself and be spiritually more adept and closer to God. What was just been said here is that, some people when they die, they'll beg God and they'll say, please send me back so I can right my wrongs and so I can do good. Let's go back to what it says. When death approaches any of them, they cry, "My Lord, let me go back. My Lord, let me go back, so I may do good in what I left behind." Now, some people feel that you do go back. You keep going back until you learn all your lessons that you need to learn in this heaven, and then you go to the afterlife and you're with God, and at some point you move up to the next heaven. So, but this is saying that, okay, so then God replies,
أعمل صالحا فيما تركت كلا إن
God replies, never. It is only a appeal they make, only a useless appeal they make.
إنها كلمة هو قائلها ومن
And there is a barrier behind them until the day they are resurrected. So you die, you go before God, and they'll beg God to send them back. But said there's the barrier behind them until the day they are resurrected and judged, I suppose. So it's like a one chance thing. I don't know. I don't know. I've heard a lot of people say this about, about the Abrahamic faiths. Yeah, that's like one of the biggest disparities between like the Eastern faiths and the Middle East and Western kind of faiths. Well, I shouldn't say Western faith because there's Native Americans in the West and they believe similar to the Eastern faiths. Let's say the Abrahamic faiths, there's a big emphasis on this is your life, this is your one chance, you must do good, you must not do wrong, and you'll be judged upon that, and the hereafter will be judged upon this life you have lived, however long that is. The Eastern faiths are more towards you're here, you've been reincarnating here for thousands of years in many different forms. You were once a black man, and you were a Chinese man, you were a white man, you were an Asian man. You've experienced many different lives, you're trying to learn many different lessons. And this is the purpose of your life, and then you review your life with God, you go through your healing, and when you're ready to reincarnate and there's an opportunity to learn more lessons, and you come back and you incarnate again to learn more. So it's just very, very interesting to see the difference in the Eastern faiths. As you know, like I kind of study all faiths, so I know a bit about them all. I don't know. Let's just carry on, learn a bit more.
برزخ إلى يوم يبعثون فإذا نفخ في الصور فلا أنساب بينهم يومئذ ولا يتساءلون فمن ثقلت موازينه فأولئك هم المفلحون.
Okay, so it says, on that day of judgment, when the trumpet sounds, those who are heavy with good deeds will be the ones that are successful, will be the ones that will go to heaven. You see, someone could argue, right? Let's say you're a second-hand car salesman. Since the age that you maybe you went school, you went college for a couple years, studied whatever, maybe business, marketing, sales. At 18, 19, you started a second-hand car business, and for your whole life you've been a second-hand car dealer. Is this a good deed? Have you lived the life of good deeds? Have you helped others? Have you been of service to others? Some people argue, yes, you sold people cars. People need cars to get around to live, so you served your good deed. But I don't know. I guess it's just very confusing as to what you could maybe do or not do in this one kind of life that you're given. In a space of 80, 90 years, if you're lucky, as a human being, with human lifespan. Say that second-hand car dealer, why is he getting rewarded with heaven? And, a nurse or a doctor who's been working to help people, to save people, to help the sick, to help people with their life, with their pain, with their suffering, with their illness and sickness, help healing them, care for them, giving them medicine, wiping up their sick, their vomit, their excrement, caring and helping them in every way possible, dedicating their life to helping others, helping those who are suffering. These no one could deny are extremely good deeds. That's a good life in service to others, doing the work of God, you would say, doing godly work. Like how do you? Obviously, it's not for us to do; it's for God to judge, and it's up to God's discernment and judgment. Obviously, we don't need to really know about it, but how? I don't know, man. Oh, I guess in Islam you have to give charity as part of your Islamic commitment. So that is part of your good deeds. If your general occupation isn't necessarily one that serves others and involves good deeds. Yeah, I don't know. I just think it's just interesting, man. Like it says, it is they who will be successful. Obviously there's the obvious that those who do bad deeds will not be successful, but it's those deeds which you see as good, and maybe those deeds which you see as, maybe they don't polarize into a good or bad category. Maybe they're just deeds. Maybe they're just acts. Maybe you just sold cars for your whole life. Gave a bit of charity, and that was it. Not to say that's a small thing or a bad thing. Do your thing, man. My people got money out here. There's nothing wrong with selling cars. People need cars. People need cars to live, to get around, to transport themselves. They're a vital part of our lives. But to determine what is a good deed, I don't know, man. It's just something to think about, I guess.
ومن خفت موازينه فأولئك الذين خسروا.
As we see here, but those whose scale is light, they will have doomed themselves. So if your scale is light with good deeds, you may not have necessarily done anything bad, but you may not have done any necessarily good deeds. I don't know, man. I don't know. Only God knows, isn't it? Obviously, we all should all try to work in service to others, in service to those who are in need, isn't it? So it's not really anything to question if you really think about it.
فأولئك الذين خسروا أنفسهم في جهنم خالدون تلفح وجوههم النار وهم فيها كالحون ألم تكن آياتي تتلى عليكم فكنتم بها تكذبون قالوا ربنا غلبت علينا شقوتنا وكنا قوما ضالين ربنا أخرجنا منها فإن عدنا فإنا ظالمون ربنا أخرجنا منها فإن عدنا فإنا ظالمون قال اخسئوا فيها ولا تكلمون إنه كان فريق من عبادي يقولون ربنا آمنا فاغفر لنا ربنا آمنا فاغفر أفحسبتم أنما خلقناكم عبثا أفحسبتم أنما خلقناكم عبثا وأنكم إلينا لا ترجعون أفحسبتم أنما خلقناكم عبثا وأنكم إلينا لا ترجعون فتعالى الله الملك الحق لا إله إلا هو رب العرش الكريم ومن يدع مع الله إلها آخر لا برهان له به فإنما حسابه عند ربه إنه لا يفلح الكافرون وقل رب اغفر وارحم وأنت خير الراحمين.
Wow, cool. Okay. All right, very interesting. So it started off talking about the good ones are those who are faithful to each other, to their partners in marriage. Talked about the creation of man, from sperm to a clot of blood to flesh to bone. Talking about the creation of the earth and the rain, creating the gardens of palm trees and grapevines. So talking about how the past prophets like Noah were disbelieved as well. People were saying, he's just a human like you. Don't believe him. He's talking nonsense. And then God said, the flood, the great deluge will drown all those disbelievers. And it says, we reduce those people to rubble. Same with the Pharaoh as well. Talking about how Mother Mary and baby Jesus were given shelter on high ground. I didn't know if that was referring to the story of the birth of Jesus, or that was later when Mary was taking care of Jesus as, a child a bit older. Because I'm not sure whether the whole baby in a manger thing in the barn was... I'm not sure if he's talking about that, because I don't know if that was on high ground or not, but I'm not sure about that. Some of the language is strange there. It says, we have a book with us that speaks the truth about everyone. I know God is, we as God. So God is saying, I have a book with me that speaks the truth about everyone. But is the book not being written as it... So Muhammad's detailing the words of God and the book is being written. So we have a book, God has a book that speaks the truth. Obviously he's talking about the Quran, but the book isn't in creation yet, so because it's still being dictated. So I don't know, I guess it probably makes more sense in Arabic. The whole we have a book with us that speaks the truth about everyone. Does it mean that the angels are telling Muhammad God's word from an already established book? Or is it just God saying, the Quran is the book which speaks the truth about everyone? I'm not sure. It's talking about the ancient people as well, the people didn't believe, and then they... it's talking about how the people didn't believe, and then they would torment their elite, their powerful people, and then the people would believe. Once they saw, those who were in charge of them, the kings and the emperors, once they saw those people suffering at the hands of God, then they they would believe. And it says it uses those people as a narration for now the Muslims to or for everyone to read and understand. Look, this is what happened when the disbelievers were doing what they were doing, and you should see this as a lesson now. You shouldn't disbelieve like they do until the point of suffering. You should believe in Allah and the way. Yeah, but those who disbelieve in the hereafter are certainly deviating from that path. Okay. I guess a lot of it is like also establishing that you should be strong in your religion, because there were those people that disbelieved and laughed at the Muslims or those who came before the Abrahamic faith, the Jews or the Israelites and the Christians, or those who were told to believe in the God of Abraham, Jesus and Moses. They were mocked. So it's kind of a forewarning to Muslims that people will laugh and mock your faith, but the day of triumph will be with you, for you are the believers. See, this is a really interesting line to me. It says, those believers who are asking God's forgiveness, and he says we were laughing and making fun of people. They say to God, we remained only a day or part of a day, but ask those who kept count. He will say, you only remained for a little while, if only you knew. He's saying you only remained on earth a small while, if only you knew. If only you knew. He's saying, see, is he saying if only you knew that in fact you did not remain on earth for a little while, maybe more than a little while? Or is he saying if only you knew that your short time on earth was to be led with a purpose? Because the next line is, did you then think that we had created you without purpose? I don't know. Let me know what that means exactly. And that you would never be returned to us. So God's saying, your life is so short, as you say, do you think you would never be returned to us? Yeah, man, found that really interesting today. Surah Al Muminoon. Great bits of information in there. Science about the creation of human being, from sperm to a clot of blood to flesh to bone. Great bits about the story of Noah, about the prophets, about disbelieving, about being a believer. Interesting about the afterlife. It's a lot to break down, man. I know certain Muslim scholars, very, very, very small amount of them, say that there is a suggestion that it's not just a resurrection and judgment, it's more. But I don't know, it's hard to decipher. Some of it is a bit difficult to decipher. The strict reading of it would seem that it's death and then judgment. Death and then you are in front of the Lord, and then you wait until judgment and you are judged, and things go from there. But yeah, man, really good. Enjoyed that one. Big up to everyone Shit, my battery's about to run out. Big up to everyone that requested that. Oh, please, people, subscribe, man. I need 1,000 subscribers. Come on, I'm going like 370 or something. Get me up there. Big up. Yeah, I'm gonna duck out before the battery dies. Peace.